So I'm trying to get that step fitted in. And when I put it in, as you can see, I put these strings in place. As far as the step goes, if it goes all the way back, it's still got a gap between that brace and the string. That's as far back as it's going to go. Now, I'm not going to hammer these back, and I don't want it to go too far in anyways, because I got to make sure that the bottom of the rocker lines up with the cab corner. Look at how flexible that is. That's just Bondo holding that together. But I'm going to cut that out later, put the new one in. And on the front side, the rocker, which will be right here, is going to line up with a fender, hopefully. And the rocker is going to line up with the door, which I tested yesterday. It's close, but it's going to need some tweaking. So I'm thinking, get something on this and try to bend it towards the string. Maybe I bent it when I was hammering these spot welds out and pushed it back. You think I could have pushed it back? That looks like almost half an inch, 3/8 of an inch. That's 1/8 of an inch there. So it's bent more at the bottom. So I'll try to bend that back. Really nothing else I could do. Well, this is what I came up with to fix this. It's my hockey stick engineering. I think that's out of focus though for some reason. So I rigged up my hockey stick with a couple clamps to give a good pull on that. And I'm pretty close, I think, but I got to take the stick out and put the strings back in place to be sure. But yeah, it definitely moved it a few inches, about a 1/4 inch or so. That's all I need. Looks like it's about to rain. We got a thunderstorm coming. There's the Volkswagen TDI wagon on the trailer over there. That's a whole nother story. I should have documented that for you. Interesting story. Yep, hockey stick did the trick. That's within 1/8 of an inch or so. Where's the other one? That's the top. Pretty darn close. I don't know if it's focusing. But I'd say now I can put the step in. And if I want to do puddle welds from the back, I'll drill, 6 holes, puddle weld it from the back side, and while I'm welding it, push it in close, make sure it's tight. So let me put the step in and show you what I'm talking about. So there's the step installed. Not installed, in place, not installed. It's not welded in or anything like that. But you can see there's a gap there. It pushes in. And I got to push it in. I'm going to reach back with my hand here, and I'm feeling for the stop. So it's got to be up against the stop on both sides, and that stop should be in line with the bracket, which is back here, which has got to get spot welded in. But I just don't want to go too far because I want to make sure that the cab corner, when I cut it off and try to put a new one back on, lines up. And of course I'm always nervous about the fenders because they got to go back on eventually and line up as well. And of course, the wild card's the door, which has so much adjustment in it. The hinges go up and down, in and out, as well as the door slides on the hinge in and out and has room to go up and down on the hinge itself. So I'm confident that it can be lined up once it's on. But we'll have to wait for that much further down the road. In the meantime, I'm going to weld this thing in, or at least tack it in. And these returns here, these aren't factory. The factory cuts off right here. I can cut those returns off, but I think I'm going to leave them and use them as anchor points for puddle welds and tap in because I can get behind them and tap this flat piece right up against that, or even clamp it. I can get a big clamp in there, tighten it up. So that's what's happening. Let's see if we get the thunderstorm they're calling for. And let me know if you want to hear about the TDI, the Volkswagen, what's going on with that. There's a short one. Thanks for watching. Back on the step this morning. Got an early start. See, I put the patch in. It's coming out pretty good. It still needs to be filled in a couple places. Definitely needs to be hit with the flap disc to make it look nice. But I've also drilled these holes, and those are for puddle welds that I'll be doing from the backside. So when I put the step in and I get it all lined up, I'll come in on the backside and I'll puddle weld the step. And I'm hoping it looks good on the outside because it's the part that shows. And I guess if it doesn't, I just pound it down and, you know, if it bubbles or something. But definitely want to do it from the backside. I'm not sure why, but that seems to make more sense to me doing it that way, crawling under there and welding. And then I think once that steps in, then I'll cut away the cab corner and try to get it to line up with where the rocker panel or the rocker goes. And that's it. Moving along well. Let me put the step in and see how it looks again. So I like the way the step looks now. I got a couple details to work out. Now, this here is lapped on top of that. That I think is fine. These practically line up. This is kind of flopping, so it might end up, you know, when I put the new one in, it's supposed to line up right about there. And I think that gap should be a little smaller. But the thing I'm rethinking is I'm thinking of cutting this return off. You see there's a gap, but otherwise if I leave it on, I have to drill some holes and do puddle welds and weld it to the back piece. I think the smarter thing to do is just take it right off, which is what the factory had. The factory didn't have returns. This side's really good. This side's nice and tight. Still a gap there because of the old metal. So I'm still debating whether to take those returns off or not. Anybody has an opinion on that, let me know. And I'm feeling around in the back, and everything's nice and tight in the back. So it'd be puddle welds across the top front, and then puddle welds from behind. 6 here, 4 here, 4 going down, 4 going down, 3 or 4 uphill, or upside down or inverted. Same thing on the opposite side. So a lot of welding to do. But I think I just want to tack this in place for now, just to get it, you know, where it's going to end up, and then work the cab corner. I think that's the best way to do it. And then, of course, hopefully the fender lines up when all is said and done. And then there's this detail here. You see that's bent. I believe this goes behind and this goes over. And I just got to straighten that out, get it behind there, and hammer that back down. Not that big a deal. Or I could just cut it off completely. Or weld it flush. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. All right.